This is a song I wrote for my father. My dad started taking me out to Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia when I was, certainly not more than 2 years old, and probably younger than that. And my favorite player of all time was a guy by the name of Richie Allen that the hometown fans would boo. And I didn't understand until I was an adult and had a chance to read through his file at the Baseball Hall of Fame about the racism of the times. Richie Allen was the first African-American player the Phillies ever had of any star caliber, and you know, his rookie season was 1964, but the Phillies didn't integrate until 1957, 10 years after Jackie Robinson. And Richie Allen, like I said, was the first African-American of any star caliber. And anyway, he got involved in a very unfortunate incident with a popular Phillies player by the name of Frank Thomas, who let a couple of racial slurs slip out of his mouth, and Richie Allen took offense, and next thing you know, a fist fight took place. But Frank Thomas grabbed a baseball bat and he hit Richie Allen with it. Not hard enough to hurt him, but this couldn't be swept under the rug because it happened on the field during batting practice, and fans saw this. So the Phillies had to release Frank Thomas from the team, and it was very unpopular with the fans that they did so. And to compound the problem, Frank Thomas co-hosted a morning talk radio show during drive time, so he had a chance to tell thousands of people his side of the story, which caused any racist fans listening at the time to actually believe that a black man had cost a white man his job, and that just didn't go down so well. So they would boo him every time he came up to bat, and his response was pretty remarkable because he didn't react in the moment. He waited until the Phillies were back out in the field on defense, and after a season or so, he switched over to playing first base, and he would stand there between pitches, and he would write the word "boo" in the dirt with his shoes, right next to the base, great big letters. Of course, it made the fans boo louder and longer, but he would also spell out other things. Like, one day, the commissioner of baseball was visiting and saw this happen and sent word down to the Phillies manager to tell Richie Allen to stop writing words in the dirt, and Richie Allen ran out next inning and wrote "no." Then he was also famous for writing October, or OCT1, and the reason he did that was because the season ended the last day in September, and the Phillies promised to trade him, so October 1st was his Freedom Day. And he would write that, you know, the last few months of the season, every game. So anyway, I wrote this for my dad. He taught me to always root for the home team. Me and you, we never booed Richie Allen. And I never understood why people did. He hit a homer every time he stepped up to the plates. That's what I remember as a kid. Richie in the field out there by first base, the target of some mighty foul words. With his shoes he'd scrawl between the pitches, "Boo," great big letters in the dirt. Well, Philly fans, they've been known to get nasty. When Joe must go, run him out of town. I saw Santa get hit by a snowball, then get hit again when he was down. Me and you, we never booed Richie Allen, even if he did sometimes strike out. I was too young to read the papers to know what all that booing was about. Well, that big collapse of '64, it was ugly. They blew a lead of 6 in 1/2 games with 12 to play. Some might say their fans were justifiably angry. World Series tickets printed up in vain.
it up in vain. Philly fans, they've been known to get nasty. When Joe must go, they run him out of town. I saw Santa get hit by a snowball, then get hit again when he was down.
I had the pleasure and the privilege of meeting Mr. Dick Allen in person about 10 years ago or so. I'd been invited by the Baseball Hall of Fame out to Cooperstown, New York to do a concert of my baseball songs, and while I was there, my friend Tim Wiles in the research department tipped me off to the fact that Dick Allen happened to be in Cooperstown too. He happens to work for the Philadelphia Phillies now in the public relations department. And he was out there on some kind of official baseball business representing the Phillies, and my friend Tim said, you know, he's probably staying at the Otesaga Hotel, this grand old 5-star hotel there. Tim suggested maybe I want to take a ride over there and see about leaving a copy of the CD with the song on it at the front desk. Maybe they'd pass it on to him if he stopped by for messages, or as he was checking out, they'd give it to him. I thought, what the hell, I've got nothing to lose, so he rode over there with me, and I walked in the front door of the Otesaga Hotel into the lobby, and to my absolute amazement, there is Dick Allen himself having a conversation with somebody else. So I waited patiently for them to finish, and I walked over to Mr. Allen and I introduced myself, stuck out my hand, told him I'd grown up in Philadelphia watching him play, and that to this day he's still my very favorite baseball player of all time. And I said, hey man, I wrote a song about you, and I kind of would like to give you this CD here, and I pulled it out of my coat pocket and handed it to him. He took it in both of his hands, and he was kind of looking down at it, and up at me, and down at it, up at me, and down at it, and up at me. I think I caught him off guard. I mean, it would be weird for me, I suppose, if somebody walked up to me out of the blue one day and said, hey man, I wrote a song about you, here's the CD, take it. But suddenly, it dawned on me that there was a photograph inside the booklet that might be kind of fun to show him in person. So I asked for the CD back and took the shrink wrap off. And I pulled out the booklet and I showed him the word boo in the dirt that we had composed for the CD. And I was hoping I'd get a reaction of one kind or another. But I was not at all prepared for the tear that I saw roll down the side of his face.
This was before the days of the $1 million contracts, and before the days of the artificial grass. He stood at that outside the lines, which made him fair game for those times, 'cause Richie Allen, he never kissed a white man's ass. And me and you, we never booed Richie Allen. Now we pound our mitts and we'd yell, we want to hit. How could they call the guy a bum after he just hit a home run? That didn't make any sense to a kid. Well, I've since found out all these years later. Now I know a lot more than I did. And if back then you knew, Daddy, why all those other people booed. Thanks for letting me have my heroes as a kid.